For this week's memo to Trump, I want to talk about fear. And while there are so many things the president is scared of, strong women and outspoken black people come to mind, for instance, I want to discuss the president's obvious fear of the very country he's supposed to lead. Specifically, what you're afraid of most is the real will of the American people. It's why you've been so desperate to sabotage the constitutionally mandated U.S. Census, which is supposed to make sure every person in the country is counted. When your unconstitutional attempt to add a question about citizenship and thus intimidate and undercount immigrants and their families were blocked, you couldn't abide the rebuke. Your terror at the prospect of a full count drove you to attempt yet another unconstitutional gambit. This one, an executive order demanding that undocumented immigrants not be counted towards congressional apportionment. All this in a vain attempt to stop Democratic-leaning areas from getting the representation they're entitled to, in full defiance of the 14th Amendment, which clearly states that congressional representation shall be based on a count of all persons, not all citizens, or even, quote, all people personally approved by Donald Trump. So let's get to the root of your fear, Mr. President, because while you've never been a fan of people of color, what you're really afraid of is exercising our rights. The idea that every person in America might be counted is so terrifying to you that your Commerce Department is ending the census early, ignoring the very extension they fought for in the middle of the pandemic. Ironically, your cowardice in ending the count early won't only ensure undercounts of those groups you fear, mostly immigrants and people with real melanin, not the spray tan you've been hiding behind, but it will also end up disenfranchising the only Americans you seem capable of embracing, those in rural areas who make up your own base, all to try to help you assuage your fear and hold on to power by any means necessary. Because your trepidation of black and brown voters is legitimate, Mr. President. Your transparent attempt to silence us will help ensure the realization of your other greatest fear, an election defeat in November and a Joe Biden presidency starting in January. We'll be right back.